What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. I'm Corey Inscoe, here with Matt Swift. How you doing, Matt?
How's it going, Corey?
Good. How's your tattoo feling? You feeling good about it still?
Yes. Yeah. Are you saying did I regret it?
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Regrets. Okay, good.
No regrets. It's healing nicely.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I had someone ask me at work today, like, so you didn't get the tattoo? I was like, absolutely not. So just had to make it very clear.
Yeah. We're gonna make it happen, though. We're gonna make it happen.
We'll see. David is off gallivanting and taking PTO, which I didn't know he offered PTO here at the Mint City Soccer Show. That's a news to me.
What's up?
But
I didn't know that either.
But apparently we have a PTO policy that David made up. But we are joined by a very special guest making his triumphant return to the show. We have Russell Varner. How's it going, Russell?
It's going great. I'm just curious what other benefits I've been missing out on.
Yeah.
I didn't know we offered any.
401k? Like,
right.
I've been taking sick days all this time?
I clearly should have read the handbook. I don't know what I missed out on. There might be
You got a handbook?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
David just handed me a piece of paper and just said, sign here.
That is the handbook.
I don't know what was on it.
That's the whole handbook.
Yeah, that was all I got.
I love it. Awesome. We actually have some real soccer to talk about tonight, which is exciting. The game maybe wasn't exciting, but the fact that we have real soccer to talk about is exciting. So we'll take the victories where we can get them. But yeah, so first of all, let me just say thanks to everybody who watched and chimed in with our live show on Saturday. I know Russell was a big part of that too. We enjoyed having y'all watching along, and especially all the people.
Amazing job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Especially all the people who came up and talked to us at the show. It was good seeing people in person and having fun that way. And it's kind of a chaotic recording environment, but we had a lot of fun, and I think it turned out pretty well. And so we're excited about it. So thanks to everybody for coming out. I mean, hopefully we'll see how the kind of season plays out. We like the idea of doing some more in-person things here and there. So we'll try to do some more of that, but we appreciate everybody who got involved and chimed in with us. All right. The soccer. So after we recorded our live show, we got to watch Charlotte FC take on Seattle Sounders in Seattle in the gross rain. At one point, this is like probably says something about the thrillingness of parts of the match. I think we were listening to the Seattle radio broadcast at one point during the watch party, and they did a sideline report talking about how this rain was heavier than the normal Seattle rain, and it just looked,
fat rain.
It just looked like regular rain to me. Like, I don't know what it was, but
there are different types of rain.
Apparently, I guess Seattle typically gets more of like a misty light rain kind of all the time, whereas we get like rain. And so this is apparently
full rain.
Yeah, this is apparently more like real rain. So
wow.
Charlotte went to Seattle to play in the real rain. And came away with the most unlikely, ridiculous 2-2 draw that I've seen in a little bit. So we'll get into all the details of it. I guess we just want to kind of start where we normally start at the beginning, and we talked about this live when the roster or the lineups were announced. How did we feel about the team that Charlotte rolled out there against Seattle? Go ahead, Matt.
You want to go first, Matt?
Yeah.
Sure.
It was a genuine question. I can lead off if you'd like.
Yeah, it was, the lineup was fine. The only, I guess, question mark was, no Bronico. And I still hold to that, especially after the watching Williamson out there. It made sense to me, Zaha being out, which was a real bummer, but no surprises really. We can get into actual performances in a little bit, but because that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
I actually was a little surprised with how aggressive Dean went with the lineup. I kind of figured with Zaha out that he, like I said in the chat, that he would go with the midfield destroyer lineup, go Williamson, Westwood, and Bronico. So it was surprising to see him go as aggressively as he did. Whether or not it worked out remains to be seen. I kind of agree with you up there, Matt. Not to jump ahead, I was hoping for a little more from Williamson. I still I'm not going to throw him under the bus after one game where
Yeah.
multiple players were slipping around, and you could tell he was still kind of finding his footing with the team. But there's just you wanted to see more out of him and everyone.
Yeah.
And we can get into that. I won't go on my entire spiel on that right now.
We got
It was nice to see Dean trying to go for it in a big season opening game against one of the best teams traditionally in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you, Russell, kind of following up on what you were saying, or Matt, feel free to chime in too. But like, you're saying he went more aggressive than you expected. You expected him to play a little more defensively, or set up more defensive lineup based on kind of the situation.
Yeah, I figured it would be more defensive, kind of try to play a little more counter.
Right.
Like last year it definitely would have been it would have been Diani, Westwood, and Bronico in the midfield.
Sure. But my question. Go ahead.
No, I didn't really have much to add on top of that.
But so my question is, like, if you can ignore the actual result and what actually played out on the field, do you like that aggressiveness? Like, do you like that he kind of said, like, no, we're gonna put out a more attacking lineup versus kind of trying to hunker down to play more defensively? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it's good to see that mindset. To try to not just get a draw on the road, but to actually go for wins. Because if you're able to get wins on the road, that's going to go a long way in the final standings at the end of the year. Plus, just for the sake of my own heart health, it's a lot better to watch the team go and attack every now and then as opposed to defend for 85% of the game and then get a couple counter chances.
Yeah.
At least in an ideal world, which Saturday was not.
No, I agree with that. How about you, Matt? Would you rather see them be more aggressive or be more defensive? I mean, yeah, in that situation, not really considering what actually played out.
Yeah, I think I said this. I think the first game I would have liked to have been a little more cautious with Zaha out, and I wanted a little more bite in the midfield. I don't know, with Pep still kind of getting his feet under him, we end up losing the midfield. We got our asses kicked actually in the midfield. So to me, like, you're playing Seattle, one of the best teams in the league, on the road, first game. I probably would have played it a little more cautious. If we would have gone out there and won 3-0, then everything I just said, whatever. But like, maybe hindsight's 2020. But I think throughout the regular season, yes, I like that more offensive minded lineup. But you will have Zaha. But for that first game, and there might be some other opponents where I might adjust that midfield a little more defensively.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, so if we jump into kind of the first half action, we can talk about the goals, obviously. Anything pre-goals that jumped out to you that you want to talk about?
It felt very Latanzio-esque for a while. One of my friends brought that up in a group chat during the game, and it stuck in my head the rest of the match. We could not handle their press, and I don't know if that's the conditions, the midfield. Shout out to Seattle. They were one of the best, if not the best defensive teams in MLS last year for a reason.
Right.
And they played their asses off, but it was very Latanzio-esque just to see them pass it around a couple times in the backfield, get pinned into a quarter, try to hoof it deep, and then I don't think we won a second ball the entire first half, or at least didn't feel like we did.
Yeah.
And that just led to everything just spiraling and piling up and just not great.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. We came out slow, couldn't beat the press. We immediately gave the ball away. Like, immediately. And it doesn't matter how good our defense is, when you're under that much pressure, you're going to concede. And Seattle is just absolutely stacked. I mean, you saw who they substituted in the second half. So, I mean, it's and to your point, Russell, like, they were the only team in all of MLS who gave up fewer goals than us last season. They're just really, really good. But we did not play well. I can't really look at a single player other than Malanda and Kalina that played well. poor Vargas, like we talked about him having and seizing this opportunity, and he did the exact opposite. Like, so much so that I'm like, come summertime, can we maybe offload him? Like, I was so disappointed in him. The kid cannot shoot. He cannot shoot.
Yeah.
If I'm Dean Smith, I'm like, every practice, after practice, 2 hours, all you're doing is shooting. Like, and I want Vargas to do well, but he's just not panning out. Like, there were a lot of plays that went to him, and the whole momentum just died off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't do it for me. But yeah, I thought we played very poor. Dean even talked about Patrick not making good runs. Abada did not play well. There's really no one that played well. And Williamson, I'm sorry, the lowest rated player on the field. So I was told that he knew how to play Seattle and he was going to take over Brent's spot and all this stuff and yada yada, and like, I don't know. And first game, I get it, first game, but right now I just don't see why he didn't start Brent, who's hot, by the way, who's been scoring in preseason, who is Brent Bronico. I'm just saying.
You bench Bronico at your own peril.
How do you really feel about Swift?
I don't. Well, so like you have Brent, who is scoring goals, and he gives you the normal Brent stuff. You don't start him. You start Williamson, who's brought in to maybe replace him, pay him all this money, and he was literally the worst rated player on the whole entire field. Mm-hmm. Didn't like anything that he did. Now, I hope going forward he blows my socks off. But
as we all do.
First game, not impressed. So
yeah, no, agreed. I do want to talk about the subs, and there's actually a listener question about the subs in the second half, so we can get more into that. But I definitely have some feelings.
Yeah.
You make a really
I
good
might
point
could play devil's advococate too for you, Corey.
You probably can.
This will be good.
Yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit because I don't necessarily. Yeah, we'll just talk about it later. I won't spoil anything now. I do agree that it felt Latanzio-esque. It felt especially, and it was probably more glaring to me because of all the hype that we've been a part of, obviously on this show, coming into the season. Was that like, oh, we've completely built up the attack to be the best we've ever had it. This is the year that we're going to add the goal scoring on top of the defense. You know, it's finally going to start clicking. And obviously, you know, we didn't have Zaha. This is the first real game they're playing together. Like we talked about how we didn't expect it to be like magic the first match, but I think to see it look like, you know, 2 years ago was a little bit like, oof, this is tough. But I do think you have to give a lot of credit to Seattle. Like,
sure,
they're a very strong team, and they pressed us very, very well and just made everyone on that field uncomfortable with the ball.
That's right.
And so I think it's as much them more so than it's a reflection of us too, but I think it's also we got to give them full credit that they had a really nice game plan for how to play us to make us uncomfortable. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're talking about all of this and everything that happened, and we still got a point.
I was gonna say I've been waiting to jump in and just say like we are happy, or at least I'm happy,
which is
result at least
absolutely incredible. After the match, I tweeted out, sometimes you just have to be lucky. I'll take it. Somebody chimed in and was like, well, remember that on decision day when we finished 5th instead of 3rd. And I'm like, you know what? I will remember this on decision day because this game will be the difference between 5th and 3rd.
Yes.
Us being 3rd, not 5th, because you have to have games like this. You have to play like crap and not deserve to win and still get points and grind stuff out at Seattle. And Seattle is really good at home. They're an amazing team. They're probably going to fight for the MLS Cup. To get a point first game, I don't care how fluky it was. I don't care if we don't deserve it. It's just it's a pretty good start, all things considered. Now we got Zaha coming back home, and I will judge the team now going when we take on Atlanta.
You know who gets a point in a game like that when you are playing at best your C-level game against one of the best teams in MLS and one of the toughest places to play in MLS? only good or great teams get that. A bad team does not get a result from that match.
Yeah.
A bad team doesn't lose that game by only one goal. A bad team, us 2 years ago with Latanzio, we'd lose that game by 3 or 4 goals at least. So the fact that we got a result, I think, speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Things can be two things here. You can be disappointed in how the team played and want them to have played better, but also be very optimistic for the future because the team played far below their own expectations, which Dean and I think it was Malanda talked with the press afterwards, and they were both very visibly unhappy. And,
Dean was not pleased.
Yeah, which is another reason that I'm actually happy. Yeah, because I think I don't remember who brought it up, but someone brought up how Latanzio would have been like, "Oh, this is a sign that my process is working. These are good things to build off of." And Dino is out there saying, "No, that was all absolute trash. I'm not even happy with the draw." Like that is a complete mindset change.
Right. It's that next level that we've talked about, right? Going from here to
this
there.
Is how you get there.
Yeah.
Is building off of games like this, getting results in games like this.
Yeah. We had an episode.
That's how you. Sorry, you go.
No. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. I apologize. That's on me.
How dare you? But that's how you go from being fifth on decision day to being third in decision day.
Yeah.
Is that mentality change? And again, we didn't have Zaha. We didn't have our best player in arguably, possibly our toughest challenge of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we, again, got a result in a game that we had absolutely no right to even be in, let alone get a result in. That is something to be excited about.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had an episode last year that we titled "A Draw That Felt Like a Win and a Loss."
Yes.
It was the Orlando City
I know exactly
match from June. And I don't think the situation's the same as that match, but this does kind of feel that way because I caught myself sometimes, like I think the night of when own goal returned in its full glory.
My favorite player.
I was really excited, obviously, but then like the next morning, like I don't know if anybody else takes things this emotionally like I do. Like after a sporting event that I care about, like the next morning, like my mood immediately reflects like whether we won or lost or did well or didn't do well. And like I don't linger. It's not like something that ruins my week. Like I get over it pretty quickly, but that immediate first thing in the morning, like it's like, things are good, or oh man, that still sucked. And when I woke up, I had that sucked feeling that we had lost. And then I was like, no, we didn't lose. So like it's one of those that like, depending on my mood or how I think about the match, it either felt good or really bad.
I think that kind of speaks to how we feel about the team now and those expectations, because they have changed now. 2 years ago, getting a draw like this would be like, oh my God, yes. But now we're like, I would like to have seen us play better. We just played so poorly. I think that's where I do have a problem, and I'm glad Dean kind of got onto the players. And again, I'm going to really judge this game at home, but I was disappointed. I think that's perfectly fine to be disappointed and to be happy with the draw, and also disappointed with the play of the draw, if that makes sense.
Yes. No, agreed.
Like I said before, and like Total Soccer Show says all the time, things can be two things. And this game is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so the goals in the first half, let's run through these. Jordan Morris had both goals for Seattle. The first one, if I remember correctly, because you know my memory of games, so please correct me all. This was the one that was the cross in from the right side from Georgie, and I don't know what part of his body Jordan hit it with, but he got some part of his body on it to direct it onto goal, which was a nice looking goal.
Karate kick deflection, just ridiculousness. It was a hell of a cross.
It was.
And a great job by Jordan to deflect it in. But it was one of those, it was coming, and just waiting for the damn break.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That just a deep sigh from Matt.
No, like, so I'm going to say something, and I'm kind of surprised I'm going to say it. Like, I don't think Andrew Privet had a good game.
Mm.
Like there were a couple. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that I think the second goal definitely was he got just completely lost on that one.
Yeah, there were a couple of times that I felt like he was out of shape, which he typically doesn't get in bad positions like he did. But again, Seattle's the type of team that can get you in those situations because they have so much at their disposal. But I just remember, because I like Andrew so much and think he's been, and I'm just so proud of the way he's played and what he's done. But I remember watching the game, I'm like, it's like looking around, like, and I was whispering, I was like, Andrew's not playing well. And I didn't want anybody to hear that, like I don't, and so I just think it's weird me saying it out loud, like, and I don't want to say it. Like, I don't think Andrew played well. And I don't remember the last time I could even think that, which is, I guess, good, but at the same
credit
time.
to him. But yeah, no, I agree with that. He didn't stand out as much to me outside of, again, the second goal. I think he just got beat bad on that through ball and just was, totally lost on that one, giving Jordan Morris basically a straight run at the goal. He didn't stand out to me. I mean, what stood out to me more, and I guess we can go ahead and just get into this now, was Tim Ream.
I was going to ask.
I thought
if we wanted to get into that.
He got, and I think there's a listener question. Let me see. I'll just go ahead and pull it up if we're going to talk about it. Brad Jackson asked, should we be worried about Tim Ream on the left for the long haul? He was the one that stood out to me. I guess Georgie was who he's matched up against, right? That's who was coming against him most of the match, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
had his way with him that was the first time that Tim looked very human. It is a reminder that Tim and I are the same age, and he looked like me out there. And don't let Jay hear this, because I know Jay will. Jay definitely has his thoughts on Tim. But this has always been my concern with the move Ream outside project, or whatever we want to call this.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a team with a lot of speed to take advantage of him. And to his credit, he did a decent job last year.
Yeah.
But Georgie just had his way in every which way.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a little concerning in the long term, especially after we sold Urinin and we send out João Pedro on loan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to be concerned about it. Again, not every team is going to be Seattle.
Yeah.
Right.
Not every game is going to be in such wonderful conditions.
I have thoughts.
I was going to say, what's that? What's that you got there, Matt?
For those listening, Matt just pulled up a notebook with a lot of things written on it that I can't necessarily
He's
read.
circling it with his pen.
But he does legitimately have a notebook in front of him, so I'm excited about this.
I wanted to really think this through with Tim Ream, because everybody knows I've really liked Yuri. I was disappointed when he left.
Yeah,
I get the money, him probably not wanting to be a sub. You get rid of him, and Russell, you bring up a good point. Then we loan out João Pedro. We didn't pick up Jalen Lindsay. I know he plays on the right, but you could play him on the right, Burn on the left when needed to be. So now we're kind of like, who's our left back? People either think Tim Ream's good there, not good there, but I have an interesting kind of like stat, I guess. So last year, you talked about brought up last year. Tim Ream played 9 matches for us, right? Okay. The first 4 games, he played center back. Do you know how many games we won? 0.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I remember
it did not go well.
Number.
Yeah.
We were 0. We didn't win any. We drew once and lost 3. And we gave up 6 goals during that time. Then we switched him to left back. Other than the Orlando playoff loss that we didn't lose, we have yet to lose with Tim Ream playing left back.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Is that more because of Tim Ream or because of Privet Malanda?
I don't know.
Because in my mind,
you can't have Privet Malanda if you don't have Tim Ream on the left.
Sure, but I'm thinking, like, to me, looking back about last season, the issue to me seemed like the center back pairing. Just Tim Ream and Malanda didn't have that familiarity with each other that Privet and Malanda have built.
Oh, so you're saying that Yuri could have just played left back and we still would have had.
Like, did Tim Ream make the difference there being at left back, or was it that the thing that led to those losses is? I mean, there's a lot of things that lead to it. I know that, but like I think was the bigger issue that we didn't have that center back pairing that had been working so well for us.
You bring up a really good point. And again, this is why I kind of like had all these notes, because it's very interesting to me. I think this is one of the reasons why too, like he went away from Yuri. I think he wants a left back. Dean Smith wants a left back that is really good with that left leg, that can play out of pressure, that can play the long ball over the top to Patrick and also play through the channels. And I think that's why he likes Tim Ream. Now, to Russell's point, Tim Ream has only really gotten in trouble one time, and that was against Seattle.
Yeah.
But I have a caveat to that, though. Our whole entire defense was under pressure the whole entire night because our midfield was so bad in giving the ball away nonstop. So when you have somebody running at you and you are an older gentleman, you do get tired. So that's why I love this topic, because like there's so much nuance with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did get worked, but so did our whole entire team. So,
right.
But long term, is this sustainable? You know, he is undefeated so far. I'll just say it.
Just keep riding it.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
We haven't lost. We're 4-1-0, 14 goals, four goals against. Well, now 6 goals against, and 16 goals for. So I don't know, just something to think about. But we are in a kind of a weird spot with him as left back. People really don't like him, or really I'm like, yeah, he's good to go.
The next 3 games are going to be a very big test, for sure. And I think we'll, at the end of this, know whether or not this is a good, sustainable plan for this season or not.
Yeah.
Depending on how deep of a run in MLS Cup we want to make.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll make some moves and get another left back in. I mean, that's kind of the rumor.
Ideally,
anyway.
Yeah.
Ideally, that'd be nice.
I think we need that. What I was going to say is I'm not worried in the long run. Kind of to some of the points you're making. I'm really not. I do think it just shows that we do need to have other options back there, because there are going to be teams that have a super quick, talented winger who are just going to eat Tim Ream up, because that's, it's not his natural position, and he's on the back half of his career. Like, so there need to be either other options or a way to compensate for that. But I think this performance, like, while he did not have a good night, I'm not benching him next match, and it's an emergency where we need an immediate solution. He's shown that he can play back there and the defense can play really well with him in that role. So I think we keep moving with that, but it did show that there's going to be times, and we need to have other options in that position too.
If I'm looking at ratings, and take ratings for what you want, Will, and the worst player was Williamson for us, then Abada, but he got a yellow card, so that kind of knocks him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Then Privet, then Tim Ream, and then Nathan Byrne and Patrick. Patrick and Nathan Byrne were tied, but so yeah. Yeah.
You know what I also realized? We're nearly half an hour into this, and we are not past the first goal in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, we're kind of jumping around a little bit.
Let's do it.
It's going to be a 2.5 hour episode. That's fine.
Sure.
We break down every minute of the game.
This is the classic thing. Like, we'll just talk about these 3 things and be done in like 30 minutes. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go ahead and jump to the first straw at FC goal, as we all predicted. Malanda off of a corner.
Yeah.
the first goal of the season. He rose up like a salmon in the rain. It was just a great call.
I can't know if that's great or horrible, or so horrible that it's great.
Yeah, it's definitely there. But no, it was a beautiful. I mean, he did rise up above everyone else, got a whole bunch of air, and put in a nice header off a corner kick, which, like, that's not something we do. Like, we are not a good set piece corner kick team. And so I think there's a question about this too, but it was. I mean, honestly,
Chantry asked it.
Let's go ahead and ask the question. Yeah, Matt Chantry says, "Are corners going to be our secret weapon this season?" I don't know if we really go that far yet, but like it was nice to see us get a goal off of that that corner kick there.
Think about our height. We got Patrick, you've got Malanda, you've got Gianni, like Yuri Tavares. Like we've got some height, and we, maybe don't do it quite as well. I think last year we started to kind of do some like trickery with our corners and stuff. There seemed like to be some like strategy, so maybe that's taken a little bit to take root. But it's good to get goals like this, because when you are struggling, sometimes your defenders need to get up there and score some goals too.
Yeah.
I mean, and speaking on that, the one name you didn't mention, and that was Tim Ream, who does have a history of being able to score goals off of corners. It wasn't his first goal with the club off of a corner last year against Montreal. Maybe.
Was that maybe against Red Bull? Maybe I can't remember. One of those teams. Maybe it was Montreal. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah,
one of them. But now we've had an entire offseason to be able to work on those set pieces, and so maybe there is something there. I know that corner kick is probably the best corner kick goal we've had since the Olympico against Atlanta.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the super windy Olympico. Brian Cruzana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So much
I'm not
wind.
taking shots ahead of time. But I'd love to see it be able to become a threat. And again, shout out to Pep Biel, who, going back to what you said, Matt, I think Pep Biel is the one other player you could say had a positive game.
Yes.
Because when he was on the ball, he looked like the game changer that we thought we were signing last year at the deadline.
Yeah.
So
I think he's going to be solid.
Impressed with him.
He had a 7.2 rating. And again, take ratings for what you want, but I think him and Westwood were the top rated players on our squad. Malanda, of course, because he scored the goal.
Right.
And then Kalina also too was up there. And oddly enough, Vargas was rated a 7.0, which So again,
quick thing on Vargas I wanted to say earlier. To Vargas's credit, he does do a good job of getting in those positions. Now, finishing, a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Apparently at the open practice yesterday, he was working on finishing drills and did a very good job from what I read on Twitter. Now, granted, that's training. And yeah, exactly. It's one thing to do it in training. It's another thing to do it in game.
I hope he gets rolling. He just needs to get it on frame.
He is at least practicing the right things. He is at least doing the right things. He's getting in the right spots, which is, I don't want to say it's all you can ask, but it's a good sign that he's at least getting there. Now, if he can just develop something close to like any kind of accuracy on those shots, that'd be, or just learning to give the ball up if it's not a great shot and not force it, then we're going somewhere. But one step at a time.
There was a moment in this game where he got the ball kind of like at the top of the 18 and had the whole entire goal to kind of at least get it on frame and just snatched it. I mean, come on, man.
I remember exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was going to touch back on BL because you mentioned him when we were talking about, corners and set pieces and that kind of thing. I feel like, just from my perspective, it always felt to me like most of the issue with our corners were the delivery. Like the ball was not being put in well most of the time. Sometimes it would be, but like I feel like consistently we weren't putting the ball in a good spot off of a corner.
Yeah.
Maybe BL's that guy that can be the one that consistently put the ball in a good spot, because we have the targets, like you said. The targets are there of guys with good height who can get up and head a ball in. So it's just a matter of putting good balls in. And if we have someone who can do that, that's a huge benefit for us there.
Yeah. And it was Montreal, by the way, Russell. Good memory.
Yes.
Good memory.
The memory isn't completely gone yet.
Yeah. At Montreal, because I was at that match and I didn't remember it. That's a good sign.
That was the 2-1 2-1 game.
I was going to say that's about the only memorable thing to take away from that game. There wasn't really much else.
I think that was like
noteworthy.
his third game too that he was with the club.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right. All right. So halftime 1-1. Come out of the second half. Before I can even get home from the watch party, I'm walking in. So I listened on the radio on the way home. In the span from when I turned off my car to come inside, I walk in and I see happy Seattle fans. And I'm like, ah, crap.
Yeah.
So I only saw this on replay. But Jordan Morris again. This is the one that kind of attacked through the middle, through ball, right between the center backs that got Jordan Morris free to knock home another goal to go up 2-1. Yeah, I feel like we talked about this a little bit, but anything else you want to say about that goal or the beginning of the second half in general? No. Good.
Nothing really to add that wasn't really discussed already in the first half.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's move on to happier things.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk about subs now? Is this where we talk about subs, or is there anything else you want to talk about in the second half before we talk about subs? All right.
I do just want to shout out real quick. Whenever I don't remember if it was in the first or second half that Kalina made that ridiculous foot save.
Yes.
On what would have been offside anyway, but
yes,
it is just very nice to see that Kalina has not lost his touch. Because one of my big worries coming into this year was a regression to the mean for him after such a historic season.
Yeah,
and to be able to see him just do that, hats off, hats off to him.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like I didn't mean to talk about Kalina earlier. This was another match where this easily could have been. We could have been down 4-1 at one point if not for Kalina standing on his head doing ridiculous things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, that's not something I want to bank on for a long-term thing, but it was like you said, Russell, very nice to see that. Oh, he still got it. So
I'm just saying, man, he still got it.
You definitely saved us a whole bunch of times in that match. All right.
So subs.
I just here's the main thing I wanted to say about the subs, because it's probably not what you're thinking. I probably feel a little bit what you're thinking, Matt. But what I wanted to start by saying is just when saying it out loud, who they subbed,
yeah,
versus who we subbed.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So Seattle subs on Paul Arriola.
Yep.
Seattle subs on Jesus Ferreira. Here's the attacking substitutions that Charlotte FC made. Brant Bronico, love Brant. This is actually the least egregious of the four.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger Smalls.
Mm-hmm.
Jabril Gianni.
Yeah.
And that FOMOB has the wrong player in here, I think. But wasn't it Toklamati was the last one?
It is. For whatever reason, FOMOB has his last name is something else.
Yeah, that's thrown me off.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it might actually kind of be correct, but he's called, he goes by that Toklamati. Yeah.
Toklamati.
Yeah.
Like I'm really not trying to dog any of those players. Like I'm truly not. And obviously Toklamati was a huge part of what led to his assist to own goal was impressive. But like that to me was just a like flashing red light of ooh boy depth. Like that is still the issue we're gonna see here, is that we don't have the players to bring on when we have tired legs or need some kind of spark on offense. But yeah, that's more my thought than anything. Is just that's what was glaring to me. I get the subs to agree. I guess the only thing that also bothers me is that I need our DPs to play 90 minutes or closer to it.
Yeah, I've got
and I'm including Pep in that a little bit because I know he's not DP anymore, but he was initially and is getting close to that level. But like the Ibadas, and I'm sure Zaha will when he plays, but like we can't be subbing these people out in the 60th minute. Like if we're going to be paying this amount of money for them, I need them to be match fit for 90 minutes more often than not to be able to especially when we're down one goal. I mean, as ugly as we played in that match, we were down one goal at this point. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of my thoughts.
Yeah.
In Pep's defense, he is coming off the injury, and I think that was maybe the second time he's played. But once he does get hungry or healthy, excuse me, yeah, we need we can't be subbing them out at 60th minute.
Yeah.
I 1,000% agree with you on that. And
No, it's a good point in the injury, though. Yeah.
and just the subs, and like you said, it's just a sign of the difference between Seattle and us right now. And I mean, and when Zaha comes back, that is going to change things. Because now instead of Smalls, you're going to have Kerwin Vargas coming in, who's going to be able to come in off and have tired legs and possibly be able to do a little more against those tired legs than he does against fresh legs early on. But yeah,
just saying the names out loud kind of hurts your heart a little bit.
yeah, because like you said, it's nothing against any of those guys. We love them all, but it's having those guys come off the bench as opposed to having Jesus Pereira and Paul Arriola in them. One inspires a different level of confidence than the other.
Mm-hmm. All right, Matt. Yeah. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yep, go, Matt.
No, I think a lot of people, most people had your reaction, Corey, and it is, you know, how it all played out. It's like, shoo, okay, Seattle are stacked beyond all belief. So here's the thing. I think the Pep sub I was okay because 65th minute, whatever it was. Okay, yeah, that made sense. There is a part of me, though, that thinks the other subs, particularly Abada and Patrick, there is a little bit of me that thinks Dean did that as a kind of get your attention type of thing. And he even said he didn't think Patrick played all that well, didn't make good runs.
Sure.
He also said he didn't get the service. Abada didn't play well. And I think Dean was pissed. I think he was angry the way we played and was just like, you know what? Sit on the bench. I'm gonna let these hungry kids play, and get some minutes and just kind of see what happens, because clearly with what we had out there, nothing was going on. And so it was a little bit of a shock, like Patrick not playing the full 90, Abada not playing the full 90. Abada did have a yellow card, so maybe that was a factor. But but there is a little bit of me that thinks maybe Dean was just like, all right, I'm gonna let these guys go because you're clearly not getting it done. You know, Williamson again didn't play well all game. So that sub makes
that would make sense to me. Totally.
Yeah.
But I think kind of like what we're all thinking here is like, whoo, like if we get down in the season, is that really our arsenal off the bench? Kind of. You still got Yuri Tavares. You know, true. I think Brandon Cambridge may have been an injury or something there.
Yeah.
But
possibly later on.
Yeah, but you know, when Zaha comes back, you do have this dynamic where you can play Brant instead of Pep. You can play Williamson and Pep. There's a little different mix in the middle. And then don't forget, we still have a DP, so that will also bring some depth in the summer. We just really need to be mindful and careful getting to that spot. But I think Seattle's just at a different like that one top % level with like LAFC,
sure,
and some would even say Miami FC with the depth and the talent that they have. So we're just not quite there yet, but I think we're building to it. But it's really good. I mean, if you want to look at this positive, like it's really good to let these young guys get some minutes and actually play pretty decent, I thought, when they came in.
And again, got a result.
Got a result.
As poorly as everything. Yeah. Like, I feel like we have to keep reminding ourselves, like,
this is
got
kind of
a
like,
result.
Yeah, it's like worst case scenario, and we still got a point in Seattle. So
exactly.
Should be feeling pretty good. There's some warning signs there. Got to clean some things up, of course, but Yeah, the subs. I think everybody was like, "Oh God, look at the difference between the two teams." It was very glaring.
Yeah, I mean there is that. I'm trying to look this up because I don't know if I can find it fast enough. Because I'm. This is just my memory, so please correct me if my memory is wrong.
Yeah.
But going back to Abada specifically, because I think you're right. The Pep one likely had to do with injury. Just working him back into fitness.
Yeah.
I feel like in my memory though, Abada comes off early a decent bit. Am I wrong in remembering that? Like I feel like regularly when we sub a winger in the second half, we sub off Abada and we leave on Vargas or we leave on whoever else is out there. And that to me is like, if he's going to be our DP winger, or now one of them, like I got to see him play more. Unless the game's in hand and it's more of like let's give him 30 minutes of rest or not in hand, but we have a lead, give him some rest, put somebody else in there, give him some run. But like I feel like in games where we still have a chance to win in general, and there's maybe some circumstances with this one that where Dean was just pissed and subbed to Ralph, which I get that feeling. And the yellow card. But I just think in general,
got a yellow in the 59th minute. So maybe
so there's some of that, but that's just something
I'm saying.
I feel like I'd have to go back and look at all the, look at the stats and things like that. But I just had this kind of feeling that like this was I'm used to seeing Abada come off kind of early. And I'm like, that feels off to me that he shouldn't be coming off at that point. We shouldn't be more. I think there were a lot of games last season where we did a similar thing where all of a sudden our attacking four was like 4 bench guys. And I'm like, come on.
No, it's a really, really good point. And yeah, your DP needs to stay out there and like he's your guy. You're paying him the money. The physicality is what I have concerns with Abada. Speed and footwork, good, but I think Dean likes like physical, like tough guys. So it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic. But Corey, we talked. Was it not last episode, not the live episode, but the one before that? Like you and I were like, Abada, this has to be his year.
Yeah.
And I think this game, you look at it, you're like, "Ooh, that's we're not off to a good start," So, but it's the first game.
It's first game.
Yeah. Cold, rainy, big old fat rain in Seattle.
I do want to say Brian Duncan was the one that asked the question, what did we think of the late game subs? So I just want to credit him for asking the question since we just did all the conversation about it. Yeah. So let's finally talk about the reason that we're not more upset about this than we could be is because in the 90 plus 3 roughly around there, it was in stoppage time. We get the glorious return of own goal. If I remember correctly, again, so actually I have to admit something. It was late, right? I'd come home at halftime from the watch party.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch. Wife's been passed out the entire time. Like she doesn't stay up late. And I started to drift a little bit. We got to stoppage time. I was like, so I'm doing one of those where like I'm still hearing what's happening, but I'm doing like kind of the dad like head falling back thing.
I'm not sleeping. I'm just resting my eyes.
Yeah, just resting my eyes. Just resting my eyes a little bit. And then like the TV got loud, and I'm like, what happened? That's how I experienced the own goal. They gave us the draw. So I didn't actually see it in the moment. I had to like kind of back it up and see what happened. So my memory of it was we had Tokomati doing a huge charge down the right side.
Yeah.
Really strong run. Really impressive. Because I mean, we're going to call it an own goal and it's like, oh, y'all got it because it's an own goal. But like he set up, he put us in a position to have that opportunity. And then also he puts the cross in. And if I remember correctly, Vargas was there. Was he? No.
So I have some thoughts.
Matt's giving me a face. Okay.
I know. I've got some thought. I got some thoughts on this one though. To your point, you have to put yourself in positions like that to make anything happen. So it was his hustle, and he kept going. And when he first got the ball, Vargas was open. It would have had to have been a really, really good ball, kind of like a wrapping cross. And so I was like, play him. And he didn't play him. I was like, I'm screaming. I'm like, playing the ball. And he didn't play him the ball. And I'm like, oh my God. And like Vargas is like waving, like, pass me the ball. And it never came.
He's like, I saw you shoot earlier, man.
It's like, I got to wait for more players to get in this box.
It's like when the big guys at 3-point line, like I'm open. It's like, no, man,
No.
you're not getting the ball out there.
I didn't see
There's
you.
a
I
reason
didn't
you're
see you. I
open.
didn't see you. I didn't see you. But then, he puts a good ball in, and Vargas is still, in a good position. I do think there was a defender right there. And if you watch that defender, he can't believe, he's like, if you would have just let that go, I probably would have had it.
Yeah.
But again, you don't get that unless you have that hustle and getting the ball down the line. And again, a bright spot, the kids go out there and they do their thing and make something happen, as opposed to our guys who were supposed to make something happen, didn't. And here's the thing. Every once in a while, your DPs are going to play like crap. Every once in a while, they're going to get subbed out. And this is the whole thing. Like you get your subs in, it doesn't matter their age or experience, and they do the thing. So, I cackled. I cackled when that happened. Absolutely cackled. I was by myself. There was no one there.
Perfect reaction to that situation. It was just cackling.
Yeah, cackled. I was so happy. I was like, yes, give it to me.
Yeah. Nah, go ahead, Russell. You're gonna say something?
I'm trying to think of if I have anything.
Okay. No, you're good.
Worthwhile to add, other than reminiscing about how I celebrated with my dog and 2 cats at like 12:30 in the morning while everyone else was asleep, and 2, trying to figure out where our own goal currently stands on our all-time goal scoring list.
Yeah.
Somebody should look that up and provide a stat.
Yeah,
Someone go find Ryan Allen.
Yeah.
He'll get on that.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan
Yeah.
Allen's flats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just kind of my overall reactions. I'm not gonna make too many judgments based on that match. Just too many situations.
Yeah.
That I feel like I'm not gonna have too strong of a reaction or judgment from that one. And I feel like everyone I talked to, including I'm gonna shout him out, Charles from church, when we talked about the match on Sunday morning.
Yeah, nice.
Who stopped by the live show. It was great.
That was awesome. It's good to see him.
We all kind of had the same reaction. It was like, boy, was that ugly. But hey, we got a point, take it and run and see what happens next. And I think you kind of mentioned this earlier. I think now I'm really looking at like, all right, let's see what happens with Atlanta. Assuming we're full strength, like that's going to be, to me, the first chance to see like, what does this team actually look like this year? Are there actually some things to be worried about? I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not gonna have too many huge hot takes from Saturday. Just be lucky we got a point, and then let's see what happens this Saturday. How about y'all? Any major takeaways, or also I'll throw out there, are there any players that you felt like were a bright spot that maybe we haven't talked about? We talked about a lot of the things that were bad. Anything that might have been a bright spot for you?
Go ahead, Russell.
For me, Pepiello has been the other one. But again, I think the bright spot for me was finding a way to get a result in this game. Because I don't even know if we get a result in this game last year. Like it would have been a 50-50. And so to be a better team and to be a team now that is like something we haven't talked about. We came back from a goal down twice against a team that made the Western Conference Finals and came very close to making MLS. Again, while playing D or C level up to our potential and without our best player.
Yeah.
That's what gives me hope for the rest of this year, is that we played like cow manure and we didn't lose. And again, that doesn't happen with average or bad teams. That happens with good or great teams. And fingers crossed, I've got hopes.
All right. I want to, or Matt, sorry, you haven't had a chance to answer this. Sorry,
no, go ahead. No, go ahead, Corey.
I'm moving on to something totally different. We're going the opposite direction. All right.
Let's go.
Matt doesn't care. He's done.
Russell did a good job. Yeah. We're good.
All right. So we're going to jump into listener questions when we haven't already hit on. First of all, thank you for sending in questions. As we talked about in previous episodes, we're pulling these mainly from the Discord. We'll pull some from social media too. But if you're in the Discord, if you're a, what do we call it, corn dog membership on Patreon.
Wait a minute, is that what we called it?
I think we call it a corn dog membership.
Oh man, I don't remember being a part of that conversation.
No, this was, another, David made he made the
Justin
handbook.
just handed you a sheet of paper.
Yeah,
You just signed it.
He made the PTO policy, and he also made the membership. And I'm pretty sure
An
it's
executive order. We got to watch these executive orders, man.
I'm pretty sure it's a corn dog membership. There's only
Okay,
one.
cool.
There's only one membership tier, so this is not a confusing thing. It's like literally just the one thing we have on Patreon. But I'm pretty sure it's called a corn dog membership. But anyway, join us.
Oh my God.
It's a couple bucks, and you can hang out in the Discord with us where we can chat about things. And this is also where we pull most of our listener questions from. We'll also pull them from social media some, but check us out there. And I can't remember if we've talked about this publicly, and I think we're going to do it. This is how we announce things on the show. This might happen or it might not. We're planning to do soccer and coffee on there as well.
Yeah.
So rather than streaming it on a social media platform that will not be named, it's going to be on. We're going to do it on a voice channel on Discord as well too. So another perk there for signing up for that and joining us on there is to listen to Soccer and Coffee Saturday mornings with Matt and David.
Yeah,
I think, and friends.
Yeah, I think we're gonna maybe try to do less on that platform that we won't talk about. So bear with us as we do Soccer and Coffee. I'm excited to do them again, and hopefully, everybody else will too. So
yeah. All right, so let's get into the questions. Kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about and what I had just said is I like this question from Max. What is your most overreactive take to Saturday?
I was hoping we would do this.
So if you're going to take the opposite approach that like everything is terrible from one match.
Oh no.
What is your most everything is terrible take?
I have spent too long thinking about this.
Okay.
And I can't figure out if I want to go with my most overreactive take being that Reem is cooked and that selling Yuri and loaning João Pedro is going to be our biggest mistake, or going with Pat is not ready to be a full-time starter and we should have kept Karol Swiderski.
Ooh.
If I wanted to go hot take,
Dang.
overreaction after one game, that is what I would go with. I am not. I want to be perfectly clear. I am not doing that. But if I was on a certain show on a certain 4-letter sports network, that would perhaps be the way I would go.
Now I have to add, so I know that we're trying to overreact, like what we'd overreact to, but does that mean is there some part of like some small little part that feels either of those two things in any real way?
There is a part of me. Pat is very good at the counterpart of games. He still needs to work on that hold-up play. That's where Karol excelled at. The problem that I felt the team had last year was it felt multiple times like we would start games that Karol started, we would play more counter. And then games when Pat started, we'd play more hold-up. And then at the end of the year, we finally got it right. And that's when we really started taking off. So with Pat, for him to make the big jump, I want to see him improve his hold-up play. So there's a little concern. I don't even know if concern's the right word, but it's kind of like, all right, let's see what you got because we know what you got coming off the bench. Can you do it for the full 90? Can you show that you're more than just a physical, just get off me and slam the ball as hard as you can in the back of the net?
Yeah.
If I had to say if there's one that I'm actually kind of thinking of or worried about it might be that.
Okay. That's fair enough. All right, Matt, what's your overreactive take?
I don't think I have one. I think Russell picked the two probably best. I would say best ones. Like
you don't
I
want
think
to say that Eric Williamson is the worst signing in club history.
I can't do it. That may be mine because I definitely had a very visceral reaction to that. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but yeah. But no, Russell, the two that you had, I think, is what most people have already kind of, I think, overreacted to anyway. So that's a good call.
The only other one I was going to throw out, and I think the ones y'all have already named are the bigger ones, is if I was going to be really hot takey on something, is that Abada is the latest DP miss in a long line of DP misses for this club.
Oh my god,
That's a good one.
after one game,
Again, we're doing the
Yeah,
if we're overreacting.
Yeah, if you're going to completely overreact.
Yeah.
If this is his prove it season, that was not the way you want to start it. But again, I think there's a lot of other circumstances. But if you're going to overreact to it, that's where I would go.
And I just want to say, everything that you just heard and us kind of making fun of this overreaction is legitimately happening on Facebook.
This is why
What
I don't
you
look
just
at Facebook
heard
groups.
is happening actually on Facebook, like nonstop, people saying things just like that.
In
And
very
so if you-
civil ways, I'm sure.
So if you're like,
I
oh, I
don't
should join a
go there.
Facebook group, don't do it. Don't do it.
Join
do it.
Discord instead. Have
Yeah,
logical
join-
conversations.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. From Nikki, home opener, new kit or Carolina kit, and save new kit for the 15th when we wear it next home game. So yeah, just if you haven't looked at the kit schedule, which I have feelings about the kit schedule, which I think I put in Discord or somewhere.
Oh, I don't think
are
I've ever seen that.
We're wearing the Explore kit Saturday against Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
And then the first time I'll wear it at home is the 15th. What I put in the Discord is like the new kit is the Fortress kit, which is all about like it's an ode to the Fortress, Bank of America Stadium, where we play.
Yeah.
Why would you not wear that as your home opener?
Yeah, I think you would. I'm not. This is something we might want to look into. What are the rules and regulations
There might be rules.
about? Yeah, no, that's a good question because it is the Fortress one.
Yeah,
You would think it'd be a good time to, but we just wore it on the road though too because you're supposed to wear dark. Well, maybe not. I don't know if the rules have changed anymore about how that's supposed
I know
to.
traditionally.
Yeah, you wear
That's
dark on
how
the
it
road.
go.
Yeah.
I guess I have a hot take in that I'm actually glad they're wearing the Explore kits at home.
Oh, okay.
Because, at least for me, having started watching soccer with AC Milan and Inter Milan obviously have a big rivalry, and every year they always play with their red and black and blue kits. So with Atlanta, I'd love to see it kind of be a similar thing where no matter what, we play in our blue kit and they wear their red, whatever the heck.
I don't hate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is why I like what the team did.
Okay.
But I completely understand everyone who would want to see the Fortress kit at home. I also think it's interesting that they're going with the Fortress kit for 3 of the first 4 games this year.
Right. Yeah.
But
I guess that was I'm not opposed to. I like the other kit obviously, and I'm not opposed to wearing it. I was just kind of surprised. I just assumed because of the whole like at least a part of the meaning around what the Fortress kit represents. It was like, that should be the home opener, obviously. And then I saw the schedule and I was like, well, obviously not. Okay. I don't know what I was thinking. But it does make sense. I think playing Atlanta makes it a little bit different. I know there are some rules about like what colors you wear on the road versus at home, a little bit at least. But I know it's also a little loosey-goosey, so that if they really wanted to wear it at home, they probably could have found a way to do it. I always thought it was like the home team gets to choose, and then the away team has to choose the opposite, light or dark, based on what the home team chooses.
At least,
yeah, Nick, and I think Nikki's new to our Discord, so thanks for joining, by the way.
Thank you.
And really good question because, like, if you think about this, we could have worn the Explorer kit at Seattle because Seattle's wearing the green, and would they wear blue shorts?
Yeah, I like those blue shorts, by the way.
We could have worn the white shorts, and because it's a new kit, you're playing at home, it's the Fortress one. And then you just wear the new kit at home for that first game. So that's a good question. Like now that I think about it, because we're gonna have that crazy Queen video. I will boycott if we don't have the Queen. Like I don't like to boycott things, but I will boycott if we don't have the Queen video. But that whole thing, it kind of plays into it. So I feel like maybe unless there was some rules like we're saying, but it sucks.
I do wonder if the 2 p.m. kickoff plays into it some.
Maybe.
This is
you want to do it at
massively
night?
Overthinking.
Yeah,
it's February.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah.
It's February.
But no, I mean it's a good
It's
thought.
I do want to go back and actually, if I'm understanding her question correctly, because I kind of went on a tangent about my own ranting.
I love it.
I think
I
her
love it. I love
question
when you
is
do.
going on a tangent.
yeah. I think if
I've
I'm
never heard
understanding her
such a
question
thing.
correctly, is which kit are you going to wear to the match?
She's probably listening, going, "Guys, that's not what I'm talking about."
I trust me, Nikki. I understand the question you're asking. I took the moment to go rant about the kit schedule. But if I'm understanding your question correctly, it's like which kit will you be wearing at the match? So I'll actually ask the question she's asking.
If that is the answer or the
That's
question,
funny.
my answer is going to be the Explorer kit because I do not have the Fortress kit yet.
That's an easy
And
answer
my
there.
wife was nice enough to get me Ashley Westwood jersey as my first player jersey for Christmas.
Nice.
And so I want to get a little usage out of that before I get another jersey.
Yeah.
Matt?
I usually like to wear the kit that we're wearing just
Yep.
so the colors all match
Same.
up. Because again, I'm not super stitious. I'm a little stitious.
A little stitious.
So I like to, if everybody wears the same thing, it does the same thing. It would bring us good luck. So yeah, I'll be wearing the Explorer kit for it.
No, I'm the same. Little stitches, as we've talked about in this show many times before. I wear the same kit we're wearing. So yeah, I'll be Explorer. And I'll save Fortress for. And even when I'm watching the match at home, like going for the watch party, I wore a Fortress kit because that's what we were wearing first match on Saturday. So I'm gonna wear whatever we're wearing that day.
I just lied. I'm not gonna wear that.
How
because
dare you?
my Explorer. Well, here this is kind of goes back to what we talked about last episode. My Explorer kit has Giri on the back of it, and he's no longer with us. So do you wear? Do you? And he just was just sold recently. So what do you do?
That's a dilemma. Make a Discord poll.
Man,
Have Discord decide what you wear to the game.
I guess I have to buy another Explorer jersey, don't I?
Or you do what we
That's
talked
the
about.
right answer, right?
I can't remember who it was who asked about the Ajimane jersey where they put the 07 instead of the 7. Who was that? I can't remember who it was.
Oh my God.
Was it Chris?
Yeah.
I really can't remember who it was. I'm sorry I can't remember off the top of my head who asked this question. I could probably dig and find it, but I can't right now. Gosh, I'm gonna scroll for a second. Anyway, you can do the same thing. You take like some white tape and just redesign.
Chris Fickling?
I thought it was Chris Fickling. Yeah, that was what I had in my head, but I wasn't 100% sure. I thought it was Chris Fickling.
Yeah.
You take some of that white tape and just redesign the numbers and letters and see who you can convert yearning into.
So I have another kind of funny, a quick little hilarious tangent. So when I got the name and number on the back of this jersey, it was military appreciation.
Mm.
They had those unique numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the team store and I get the name and number on it. And the people, they know me because I'm in there all the time, right? And
well, they have to give you everything before it's available to the public. So yeah, of course you know that.
So I get the name and the military appreciation thing number on it. And then I get back down to the tailgate and everybody's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were in the military." I'm like, "I'm not." They were like, "Well, how did you get the number?" And I'm like, they're like, "That's just for military." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "They didn't ask me. They didn't like get my ID."
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so like I felt, and then of course everybody was like, "Oh," they just started saluting me like assholes. So, but I felt horrible. I didn't know. Like I didn't know it was just for military personnel. Funny. But yeah, that's how I got that.
That's
anyway,
funny.
Sorry.
Yeah, you gotta let us know next week what you do with jersey wise. I am curious. But this spins why I don't get names on the jersey unless they're retired or it's not going to matter. Like Westwood, to your point, Russell. Like that's if I'm going to get one, and I might wait until he retires, or something like that, I would get a Westwood.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Let's see. Let's hop around to too many questions. Sorry, I was laughing at a question we're going to ask later because I think it's funny. Let's go to Cheeto because we've talked about this a little bit. So I just want to see if there's anything else y'all want to mention on it. Are we worried about Williamson yet? I'm not an expert, but my goodness, it looked like he turned it over a lot. Maybe he was just trying too hard to impress. I could see the frustration in his actions after each turnover. So any additional, other than what we've already said, any other thoughts on Williamson? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying I'm not as worried as is, but it's definitely just an eyebrow raise. Maybe just like of The Rock one eyebrow raise.
Mm-hmm.
If it's another
The
bad
people's
game, then
eyebrow.
it gets to
Yeah.
2 eyebrow raise, and then if it's 3 in a row, then I start worrying.
I'm
That's
gonna
fair.
give him. I'm gonna give him another chance. Hopefully he'll play well in the next game. Maybe it's just a
Yeah.
one-off thing.
I could see. I mean, I don't know how much this actually plays into it. I could see him pressing because it's his first match with Charlotte, because it's playing against his old rival with the rival,
And
I guess, of his
after all
old
the hype
team.
about
Yeah,
Owen
maybe,
Both,
or maybe you just had a bad night. I don't know. You can probably put too much meaning on these things than actually is there. But
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. You're probably right.
I'm not worried yet about really anything. Well, 3 games in, then we start to get worried.
yes.
All right. Rick Johnston asks, question specifically for Russell.
We actually did this one.
Peppas. Am I right, people?
Oh, what is this about, Russell?
No, I have no idea what this is about. So I'm going to
Really?
ask.
I'm not sure, and I feel bad, Rick, if I missed something. But Peppas is great, and Peppas is wonderful. Rick is a buddy of mine from work, so I'll make sure to ask him about this tomorrow. I won't
Nice.
feel really terrible when he brings up something that I completely forgot about. But yeah, sorry, I
There we
don't have
go.
a good story or anything for it.
Okay.
Maybe he just wants to do Peppas with you.
Yeah.
I would love to do Peppas with you, Rick. Rick, get in touch with me. Let's go to a game sometime.
Hit me up. Let's do it.
I love it.
All right. Let's see. I'm just gonna throw this question because I think it's funny. Will McNulty says, should we use the third DP slot on own goal? Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Again, where does he rank on our all-time scoring charts?
Yeah, we need to figure that out. That's something we need to
I
sort
would
out.
not be surprised if it's top 5.
Isn't it 6? Haven't we had 6? Did I see that somewhere?
It's a
I don't know.
Trying to
Maybe
see if I
I,
can quickly find
higher than you
information
think
while we're
number.
talking.
I say that to say yes, absolutely sign own goal to that third DP spot.
I mean, over how many seasons? 4,
4
3,
seasons.
3, and getting into the now this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's the
3
reason.
3 in 1 game. That's
I'm looking this up and I'm trying to make sure I understand whether when they say own goal, is it like the goal counted for us or we
or against you.
against us, right?
It'd be in our column. Like,
God, this.
does that make sense?
Stats are
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, stats are confusing. Oh wait. Okay. So hold on. I can
find
do
it?
this.
Oh,
Maybe.
here we go.
Good podcast.
So we
content.
had
There you
we benefited from 2 in the 2022-2023 season.
Okay.
Okay.
One
Again, I'm
one
looking
last
this right.
game, so now we're at 3.
2 last season. And 1 this season, so 5. If I'm looking at this
That's
correctly,
5.
Okay.
don't quote me, but if I'm looking at this correctly, we have 5. So now let's look at Charlotte FC's goal scoring. Is there a way to do? I'm not. We should have had this pulled up ahead of time. Y'all stall. Talk about something else.
I just want to see how many of our number 10s, how many goals they collectively have scored
Ugh.
as opposed to on goal.
Own goals got them beat.
Yeah.
So we should give own goal to 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Zaha can go to whatever he was wearing at Galatasaray.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, you got it?
I think so.
Okay.
All right. So own goal with 5 goals. Where do you think they rank in our top goal scorers of all time?
I'm going to say, I'd probably say top 10. I would
Definitely
say,
top 10.
It is
I
top
would
10.
say, I would say 6th or 7th.
Dang it,
Okay.
why are you reading my mind? That's exactly what I'm going to say. So for a different answer then, I will say 5.
It's a little lower. Y'all are both a little too high.
Okay.
Own goal.
Ninth?
It would be tied for ninth.
Okay.
Old Goal would be tied for ninth with 5 goals with Ashley Westwood. Here's something. Own Goal has more goals than Justin Miram, Camilo Josviak, Brant Bronico, Pep Biel. Oh, this is fun and sad. Breck Diagere.
I'm about to say.
Well, that's
Quick, find another question to answer before I get super sad.
Hey, I will take own goal every single game.
Every single time. I would rather be
It all
lucky than
counts the
good
same.
every single day of the week.
Yeah, give it to me.
Someone correct my stats that was a really quick Googling. So please, if we got that wrong, let us know. Okay. Questions. All right. So this one's from Philip Sanford. Let me make sure I'm reading right. Yeah, there we are. He said that this is something that Russell and he discuss frequently. So you should have some opinions on this, Russell.
I do.
Other than Charlotte FC, who have the best, which new kit is your favorite? He says mine is Portland, and it's not even close.
Ooh.
And then his follow-up question is, why are Chicago Fire kits always terrible? So, Russell, do you have opinions? I think Matt's doing the same thing I'm about to do, which is frantically Google to look at all the kits. So, Russell, you tell us yours while we
Luckily, I am a sicko and did all of this breaking in my mind while they got released, and was just trying to rewrite my brain. I agree, Portland's are great. Portland and Real Salt Lake, I love theirs as well. They had the checkerboard. We are copying Croatia, but we're definitely not Croatia kits. Those are my two favorites. And to Philip's second question, that's actually kind of awkward because I always play the Chicago Fire kits.
Really?
Like the little stripe there. Like, I like those. Maybe it's just me.
But this year's one? Like,
what is this year?
They're also one of those where like a kit sponsor can really ruin a jersey sometimes, and I think like the Carvana logo slam in the middle of the chest is not doing that a whole lot of help on that jersey.
Before I forget, honorable mention to LAFC's jersey. I would love it more if it wasn't an almost exact Adidas template copy that I've seen like 5 times with European teams this year. But it in the white and gold looks really, really clean and really good.
All right, Matt, have you done enough Googling to have a thought on this?
Yeah, because I was trying to remember. There were like three that I really, really liked outside of ours, and I think I want to say Minnesota always has a pretty strong showing kit wise. But I really like LA Galaxy's. And I can't remember if it's their home or away. It's like the kind of blue and purple and yellow.
Blue and purple. Yeah. I think that's their away.
Yeah, I really like that one. Seattle has a kind of a cool one. They're new
I like
one.
the story behind theirs.
Yeah, I think what's it called? The Salish Sea
I cannot
kit.
pronounce that word.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be
Salish something. Yeah,
and
massively mispronounce it.
Portland's is really, really cool. I like kind of the story behind Columbus Crew ones. It's like the Goosebumps.
That's a cool one.
The execution on it, I'm not
100% on.
Yeah, but I kind of like the. But I think those are my favorite. The LA Galaxy one, that's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of looking through. I am always drawn to, like you said, Minnesota, and I'm always drawn to Sporting Kansas City too, just because I like the light blue color scheme.
Well, you are a Tar Heel fan.
I am, so I'm always drawn. I'm always drawn to any of the light blue kits because they just look really nice to me. One I throw out there that I kind of like, I just think it's a cool, unique kind of take on it, is the Colorado Rapids, and they kind of have a like rafting headwaters kit, so it's like a kind of water rapid motif thing happening on a white kit. I think I don't know how it would look on TV. Like it's one of those that like it might look like crap when you're watching the match on TV, but like as something I would wear, I'd wear that. That's kind of a cool little look there. So
okay. San Jose has a pretty sweet one too, by the way. The Earthquakes. I kind of like
I'll
that
need to
one.
look that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The link is broken on MLS.com, so I can't
Oh,
see that one.
Beautiful.
So that's a good thing. All right, back to our questions. Clicking. Show notes. All right. Saving a couple of our funny ones for last because this is what we always do. All right. I haven't watched this show, so I don't know if y'all have. I think, Matt, you definitely have. I don't know about you, Russell. But Jeremy McKell. God, why do I always mispronounce his last name? Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
I just call him Jeremy. Is it Michael? I've said this on the podcast before. I always want to overthink your last name, Jeremy, and it's a problem because people like to overthink my last name, so it really annoys me, and I try to be better about it, and then I just sit here live on a podcast and butcher. So, Jeremy, when watching Onside on Apple TV, what are you most envious of when looking at other clubs? He says, for me, it's seeing all those gorgeous training facilities with their modern buildings and lots of glass and ability to host fans at practices sometimes. So I haven't watched this yet. I want to. I'm a sucker for those sports documentary TV shows. So I will definitely be watching it. I just haven't started yet, so I don't have a good answer for this.
I've watched a couple episodes. I watched the first one, and then there's two with at least some of Charlotte FC in it. The transfer window one is barely Charlotte FC heavy.
Yeah.
The Atlanta one features our game down there.
Mm-hmm.
Though, not to call them out, but they said that that game this past year ended in a 2-1 loss, but it was definitely a 2-1 loss for Atlanta. It was definitely a 3-2 loss for Atlanta. I know, I was there. I very well remember that game. Charlotte definitely won that game 3-2, not 2-1. Don't gaslight me, Apple. As far as things that I am jealous of from other clubs, I think I've only seen clips of it. It's from the second episode on Hell is Real. There's clips, I believe it's of the crew driving in. They got fans on both sides with flares and everything just going, and it's such a cool sight to see. And I know we're still very young as a club, so we're not there yet. But to be able to get to that point is something I'm really looking forward to. I'm a little jealous that they have that and we do not.
How about you, Matt?
I don't know that I'm jealous. I like our training facility, and I like.
Yeah, it's a brand new facility too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I want to say somewhere. It's not where I have initially read it. I feel like he followed up saying, he said, yeah, there it is. He says, P.S. I've been inside a lot of our training facility and headquarters and fields, so I know we have some great things. So he's not saying ours are bad. Like I do want to give him credit to say that he wasn't saying ours are bad. I think there must be something about some of the ones they're showing on the show that feel fancier in some kind of way.
Well, I think I still would answer it the same way though, because we have the headquarters and we're building that complex out there now. Depending on what they do with it, then I'll have kind of maybe a different take, because it would be nice to have some like fan events out there, something special, even if it's season ticket members, or just some type of unique thing to offer people that are paying you a lot of money for tickets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the one thing I'm envious of, and it rears its head in episode 6, is we are a young team and we're in Charlotte, and Charlotte's a great city. North Carolina's a great state. We just don't have the pull that an LA in New York has, the glitz glamour, whatever the case is. Zaha has said it. Ashley Westwood has said it. They didn't know what a Charlotte was before they moved here. And I know that Ashley Westwood loves Charlotte. Loves it.
Oh yeah.
But didn't know anything about it. And so that's what I'm a little, I guess, jealous of. And you bring up a good point, Russell. Like, having people there with flares, but I think that just comes with
Over
history.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen all the episodes either, too, so there might be something else in there that I'm like, oh, that'd be sweet to have.
Mm-hmm. All right, 2 more questions. We're going to power through. This is actually kind of related to what you were just talking about, Matt. Lynn Cornacchia says, granted, we signed Zaha. However, that's a big however to throw in there. Like, we got Zaha, but sorry. However, we have lost out or had to sell rights to quite a few A-list players. Is it our market, lack of front office ability to bag big names, Tepper being cheap? How do we ever become MLS elite?
Right.
Another deep side by Matt.
I love you, Lynn. I love you,
The
Lynn.
floor is
But
yours, Matt.
I love
I
you.
was ready. I was ready for this answer.
I love you, Lynn, but this kind of makes my blood boil. So if you haven't, if you have not seen the new documentary on MLS, go watch that and go watch episode 6, which shows the whole thing with Marco Royce and how this comes about. We offered Marco Royce more money than LA Galaxy. There's nothing else that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
His wife is a supermodel. And when you think about going to France, where do you think about going, Corey, when you go to France?
Paris.
Okay. Paris, right? When I
was really trying to think of a really small like French town off the top of my head, and I could not. I really wanted to screw with your whole example here, and I could not do it in the moment.
Well, that's the thing. So, like, you go to any other country in the world, and there are definitely certain cities that you know. But, like, when I went to France, my favorite city is actually Lyon, right? Mm. But I didn't know that until I actually went and visited there and everything like that. So, when players come here, they do not know North Carolina. They know New York, Miami, LA. So that we're always going to have that problem until we build a reputation. Like Seattle can get away with it now, and Columbus can get away with it now.
Yeah.
Now they can draw people, but we're always going to have that problem. Marco Royce, we offered him more money. He left. Miguel Moron, I've talked, for like 20 minutes, one episode about this, that whole saga there.
Yeah.
It just didn't work for us. It was never really on the table. Here's the thing, though. We got paid for both of those players. Absolutely free money. Now, it would have been nice to get Marco Royce, but he didn't want to come here. He chose LA. There's nothing you could do about that. So, and David Tepper's not cheap. That whole narrative is getting old, and I'm tired of hearing it. The only player we've really missed out on was Stings because knees.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know why this keeps being asked all the time.
And also, when you're saying miss out on, it's like, you hear these names that are rumored. You're like, you don't know how close we are to them actually.
Exactly.
Like it's like just because a name is associated with a team doesn't mean we weren't going to get Paul Pogba. Like that just wasn't real.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he was thinking about that either. It's just like just because the name's associated doesn't necessarily mean that we actually missed on that person.
Yeah. And I appreciate the question. It's just I see this a lot, and I'm like, that's not reality. Like, we are in a different realm. We can't. It's hard to compete with those big cities.
Yeah. Go ahead, Russell.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, soccer, I think more than any other sport, has much more silly season, much more fabrication, much more.
Mm-hmm.
Any rumor is immediately turned into a story. That's not so much the case with MLB, with NFL, NBA. And so I think for an American fan who's just turning into soccer, you might see Charlotte's linked to Pogba, Charlotte's linked to. I saw one where Charlotte was linked to Mario Balotelli, and where apparently we're looking at him to sign him over the summer.
Yeah.
And if you don't know better, you think you're really missing out on these people. But like you were saying, Matt, it takes a certain type of person to want to come to Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's got its pluses and minuses. If you're trying to settle down and like build a family, like actually Westwood has done, like for Zaha says he wants to do, Charlotte is a very attractive destination. But if you're like you said, Matt, if you have a superstar or a supermodel wife and you want all the big glitz and glamour and the lights, this is not the place for that. Now,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do you become one of the MLS elites? Is with damn good scouting and with a very good youth academy.
Mm-hmm.
And scouting, I feel, with DPs aside, has done very well to be able to cover a gem like Malanda overseas. We talk about it a lot, but it's still not talked about enough. We
Mm-hmm.
able to find guys like Privet and Ajuman in the draft. That's not common. That's not common in MLS. And
Right.
if guys like Virtue Moss come through, if Brian Romero, young guys like that, if they can come through, that's how you become
Yeah.
elite, and that's how you compete with LA Galaxy, with Inter Miami, with
Yeah.
New York clubs. That's how you compete with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got U.S. men's national team captain Tim Ream. St.
Yeah,
Louis really wanted him. We got him. We got Zaha. You get big players by, you know, getting the record attendance and having good crowds and good atmosphere, and you start building a reputation. That's how we're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
and,
And
and
it's going to be a
having
little tougher.
Dean Smith as coach,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
plays
Yeah.
a very not small role in all
Yeah.
this too.
And you got people like Westwood that can advocate now too.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
we have to grow it a little different.
Exactly.
That's the point I was going to make, is like in the clip you saw of Zaha when he was asked basically, what did you know about Charlotte before you came here? And he's like, nothing, right?
Yeah.
But like he immediately, if I'm thinking the right clip, he like when he started name dropping, like he saw people that were here, like, and he mentions Westwood, he mentions Dean
Yeah.
Smith. I think he
Mhm.
mentioned Reem. I feel like there was someone else
I
too.
think Byrne.
That
I think he mentioned
Burn.
Byrne
Yes, he
too.
did. He mentioned Burn.
Yeah.
That was the other one I was thinking of. So like getting some of these players who've played in the Premier League, played in larger European leagues, yeah, they might not know anything about Charlotte, but then they see some of the players there and they're like, oh wait, let me
Yeah.
go talk to them. And then he also, I think, wasn't it? He also talked to Benteke at some point too, kind of
Yes,
getting his
yes.
feeling. So even though not playing in Charlotte, like playing in MLS, like they're going to
Yeah.
learn about the league that way.
That's right.
And if you have a good reputation with the players and with what's going on here, that's going to go a long way with it. And I do want to say, like, I think the question's a good one from Lynn. I know he's not necessarily trying to. He's not necessarily one of the ones that were talking about some of these players that were linked to us or anything like that. That's not what his question was about. I just think for other people maybe who see a news report or throw something in the Slack where it's like Pogba or whatever. It's
I'm
like
definitely talking more to them.
Yeah, not
this
necessarily
case.
for Lynn or the question. Like we'll answer the question, but I do think there is for some people who, especially like you said, maybe aren't they're newer soccer fans, right? Like they're newer to the sport, which is great. Like I want people that are newer to the sport to like just come in and be part of it. Like that's something you got to recognize, that there's a whole lot of silly headlines you'll see in the transfer window, and you've got to take a grain of salt to figure out what's actually reality and what is realistic that we actually have a chance at.
Yeah, my anger was not towards Lynn because I like Lynn, but I see that comment quite a bit again on like Facebook and stuff, and for people from people that have been around for a little bit too. And I'm like, I'm getting tired of this whole narrative thing. So yeah.
All right, last question. We're gonna end on a very serious note. This is from Chris Fickling, who I believe said he was getting his jersey fixed, if I remember correctly. This is what I remember this the other day. I feel like he did send. I think he tried to return it or something. His Ajumang U.S. men's national team jersey. So we got to get an update on that. How many tacos are too many? I'm just putting there are scare quotes here. Too many for you to eat when it's taco night at the house, Russell.
To quote Mean Girls, the limit does not exist.
Yes.
I feel that is the only appropriate answer to this.
That is immediately right through in the Discord was the GIF of just the limit does not exist.
Again, we're the same person. We're the same person.
That's pretty good.
On a serious note, it depends on if you're just looking to enjoy Taco Tuesday or Taco Night, or if you're looking to go Thanksgiving meal style and eat until you hate yourself. If you're just trying to enjoy Taco Night, probably go like 2 or 3. If you want to hate yourself afterwards, 5, 6. I mean, we're talking like how big's the tacos, how many toppings
Yeah.
you put them in. There's a lot of variables in this situation.
I was gonna say you got to factor in the tortilla size we're talking about here, right? Because
Yes.
like you can get like the little tiny tacos or like a hard shell, that's a different thing than like the big, those like the big taco shells, the big soft like flour taco shells.
Yeah.
Those are
Are we
different.
getting like Taco Bell mini tacos, or are we
Yeah.
going to like the authentic Mexican restaurant down the street and getting the giant
Right.
tacos?
And what's the side situation? Are we just really doing the tacos? Are we having heavy sides, or is it more like tacos?
Was there chips and salsa served beforehand?
Right. These are all important. I have a lot of follow-up questions. But the correct answer I still say is the limit does not exist. There's no too many.
But Matt, your reaction said that is not your answer.
I just love Russell's answer that there could be anything other than do you want to enjoy eating tacos? like there's an option. Like there's an option
to put on 10 pounds.
Oh my god, I'm like crying like it. I don't know why I think it's so funny. It's like, well, there's two options. You can enjoy eating, or you can like really hate like. And who's gonna be like, well, tonight, really feel like hating my life. I'm gonna eat 10 tacos.
I took it easy last week.
Yeah,
oh
I mean, don't you? But to be fair, like, aren't there some times where you eat and you're eating like you do hate yourself a little bit? Like, like I'm gonna regret all of these decisions in the morning. But like,
I think if you eat fast, if you're eating fast because you're like, oh my god, these are so good. I've done that before. Like, I would say after 4 tacos, it starts kind of getting into like the danger zone. Of
4 tacos, you start hitting the wall.
Yeah. Like, but if you've eaten those 4 tacos fast, you're like, all right, 5th, 6th one. Halfway through those, it really starts kind of like, ooh, all right, this is we're in the danger zone.
We're in the danger zone.
Now we're hating ourselves.
I just love when we spend excessive time like in actual real analysis on the stupid questions. Like this is my favorite part. All right. Yeah. Please keep the silly questions coming. That's the perfect way to end. All right. We've gone classic. We're like what, an hour and a half in, assuming I don't add anything out. Anything else y'all want to add? Oh, we haven't even talked about Atlanta this weekend.
We'll do a preview. We'll do a little preview or something later. We'll be all right.
Okay, so like a 2-second, anything you want to say? Atlanta, 2:00 in Bank of America Stadium. Gut feelings. Any thoughts, real quick, before we do the preview episode later in the week?
This is going to be a big measuring stick for me. I want to see if the defense can turn it around, because Atlanta looked very good offensively. Mm-hmm. And so is the defense going to be able to shore up their mistakes? Reem in particular, I think Reem's going to be matched up with Almiron. That's going to be a very key matchup. Latte Lop, I want to see how he does, because what I've heard a lot is that MLS as a league kind of compares to around a mid-table championship team. And Latte Lop came from a Middlesbrough, which is kind of like top level of championship. So I want to see how he does. One, just because, obviously he's playing for Atlanta, big rival. But 2, I want to try to use it as a parameter to see where MLS compares to a more prominent international league. And that all being said, Atlanta did just give up 2 goals and probably should not have gone on a win against a Montreal team that no one is really expecting anything out of. So can we build off of getting our results in a terrible game in our home opener against a major rival? That was much more than 2 seconds. I apologize. I'm sure I have more thoughts later, but I will cede the floor to you, Matt, before I hog even more time.
No, this is good. I expect big things against Atlanta. Playing at home, Zaha gets a run out. I fully expect Dean to really light a fire under everybody's ass. So I expect us to come out flying against Atlanta, and I will be very disappointed if we don't. But I am ready for it. I think Zaha is going to have his tail feathers up too. He's even said that I think he made a comment that he wants to be, crowned, coronated every, win man of the match every game. I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to hear the Atlanta fans boo Zaha when he does his thing. So I'm ready. Let's go.
Yep. Let's do it. All right. Well, we will get out of here for now. Again, stay tuned. Go ahead.
I have one more thing. Friday, I know, Corey, you're mad at me because you think I'm a traitor.
Plugging another show on this show. It's
Sorry.
fine. Go ahead.
Friday night.
Need David add him to the handbook about not being allowed to do this.
So Friday night,
Non-compete or something. I don't know.
Non-compete. So Friday night at NOTA, MCC's Mid-City Collective is having a hosting event the night before the game. But Tom Bogart is coming into town. Yeah, Tommy Scoops is in town, and Jorge Top Ben 90 is going to have him come to the watch party, and we're going to kind of do like a joint show, if you will. Like I'm going to be joining. It's going to be Jorge and Brian from Top Ben 90, and we'll have Tom on to talk all things Charlotte FC, and I'd love to get his thoughts on the matchup Saturday. So that's the event's from 7 to 10. I think we're going live at 7:30, so be on the lookout for that.
No, all serious, that'd be fun. So check that out, definitely.
I'm not jealous at all.
I'm a big fan of Tom, and I've never met him before, so I'm kind of geeking out a little bit.
He seems nice from the online interactions I've seen from him.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
And Sir Minty loves him, so therefore he can't be all bad.
That's true.
Sir Minty will also be there Friday night.
Never mind, I don't care that Tommy Scoop is going to be there anymore.
Really? Seriously.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Again, stay tuned. Later this week, we'll do some soccer and coffee and some preview stuff. Check out the Patreon to join the Discord and come chat with us in there. But until we talk next time, I hope everybody has a great week. Get ready for Atlanta. Matt is holding up the tweet. He's Wilfred Zaha, dude. See y'all later.
See you guys.